here we go. Well, I don't date a lot because, I grew up in Lincoln City. Do you guys know where that is? Okay, hell yeah. Well, most people in Portland don't know Oregon's a state, so I gotta check. But I grew up in Lincoln City, and it's a small town in rural Oregon, so there's not a lot of dating. There's not a lot of, hooking up. There you meet somebody and you just stay with them until you both die from meth. And so I don't date a lot, but I went on this date. I'm trying to, get out there, right? So I went on this date recently, and I got kind of weird. Okay, so I got to the guy's place, right? And he didn't have anything on his walls at all. Yeah, his walls were completely blank. And I was like, so what do you do for fun? And he was like, oh, I go to work and come here. And I was like, well, these are my final moments, I sure hope it's nice under your bed where I end up. And then we start kissing. He immediately pulls out a condom. I'm like, condom, we didn't say anything about butt stuff, Okay, that's what they're for if you're a gentleman. And he was like, are you joking? And I was like, sure. And then we get to his bedroom, and he goes, I'm kind of kinky. I hope that's okay with you. Yeah, his shoulders, not mine. I hope that's okay with you. And I said yes, because I'm sex positive. Plus, it's good to have an interesting story when you meet God. So let's see. I'm going on. And he opens up his drawer, and he pulled out this giant, bright pink feather on a stick. Yeah, he looked very proud of himself. He was like, I got this at the fantasy sex shop. And I was like, are you sure it wasn't like a Petco? Or maybe you stumbled into like a Hobby Lobby, That makes some sense. A lot of stuff in the Hobby Lobby looks like dicks, It's true. I was in there the other day, and I was like, man, for such a homophobic company, you guys got a lot of wieners in here. Somebody might need to check their inventory. I like to think about the CEO of Hobby Lobby. He's at a party or something, and he's laying out his philosophy. He's like, guys can't be gay, broads can't have birth control, men need to be men. And then somebody's like, what do you do for a living? And he's like, I run an arts and crafts store. Because it's fucking gay. Okay, anyways, back to the sex thing. Okay, so this guy's rubbing my arm with this feather, and we had all our clothes on, and it made it so much weirder. And he's like, do you like this? Does this feel good to you? Do you like this? And I was like, I don't think this is about me, buddy. I don't think... Also, when you said you were kinky, I thought you were gonna tie me up or hit me or something. I had no idea I was gonna be in this much danger, Okay, so the story's gonna get a little wild. Okay, so I don't know how to. I don't know how to do it. Okay, so full penetration. Okay, we go to put the sheets on his bed. Well, okay, sorry, let me back up. He didn't have any sheets on his bed. Because he just washed them. Yeah, he was very proud of that too. He told me 6 times. He was like, I just washed my sheets, and I was like, oh, that's considerate. And he was like, yeah, and then I starched them, and then I ironed them, and then I folded them. They're right here. And I was like, oh, now it's unsettling. So we have to put the bottom sheet on his bed together, because the bottom one's hard. Yeah, it's the sheet that punishes you for being alone. We had to put the bottom sheet on his bed together, and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cute, This is like a team building exercise. Yeah, this is sweet. It's like we're digging my grave together. I love this. Nice cobalt blue's really gonna bring out my eyes when I'm rolled up in this thing. It's gonna be... I should mention, so I recently lost 100 pounds over the last year and a half, and, oh, thank you. Oh, I'm gonna gain it back, but that's nice. I appreciate that. Actually, you're not supposed to cheer because it's not body positive, so shame on you. I was in Vancouver, Washington the other day, and I wasn't going to talk about this, but I was in Vancouver the other day, and I told them I lost 100 pounds, and they were very supportive. They gave me a standing ovation. Yeah, and that was surprising because they're hefty, Okay. It wasn't surprising they were supportive. It was surprising they were standing. Anyways, the only reason I bring up the weight loss is... You know what I was really thinking is, while we put those sheets on his bed is, I just hope I lost enough weight that they look for my body. You know, okay. Well, they don't always look for your body if you're a lady. Yeah, sure. You got to check some boxes for them to look for your body. You got to be white, and you got to be born with a pussy. And then after that, they just go down to the precinct and they hold a picture of you up and they're like, all right, boys, how many times would you jerk off to this photo? And that's the number of hours they look, you know? So, that's my fitness goal. You know, I just want the kind of waistline that gets found. Okay. All right, that was the light stuff. It's gonna get wild. Okay, so I recently started taking Wellbutrin. It's a very common antidepressant. It has kind of an uncommon side effect, which is that it can cause seizures. I learned that night. It's like a super fun seizure. You're gonna be fine. We go to do it. Oh, he lays down a towel first, by the way. Yeah, those clean sheets were not for me. So he lays down a towel. He's behind. That's not relevant. I start having a seizure. So I'm like twisting around. My muscles are contracting. I'm like reaching behind me. He sees this. He thinks he's killing it. He's like, this bitch can't take it. I'm too much for her, you know? And he wasn't. That feather was too much for her, and it fucking was. And then I start making these sounds. He's like, oh, like a caribou, you know? Like, ooh. I'm not trying to turn you guys on, but he must have been thinking, like, she's gonna be ugly when she comes, you know? She's gonna be, well, some people are ugly when they come. Some people are ugly when they cry. I'm very pretty when I do both, thank you. You know how I know is because I fucking practice in front of the mirror. You can do that, gentlemen. You don't have to fucking look like that, you know? I practice both, you know, because you want to look good, crying or coming, because you want to look good, whether you're fucking a guy or manipulating him, you know? So... Okay. You know, the bottle said the seizures were a side effect of Wellbutrin, like it was a bad thing, you know? But I don't know about that. I think maybe my antidepressants just had my back. You know what I mean? I think maybe my Wellbutrin just saw me being like a really good sport about getting fucked on a towel and was like, girl, no. Not today. I will burn this whole thing down. Okay. This might be too much for you guys. Isn't it crazy how everybody's autistic all of a sudden? Have you guys noticed? Doesn't it seem like everybody's got like autism or like ADD or something? Isn't it crazy? Like it's weird. It almost seems like a competition for like who's got the most weird stuff. You know what I mean? Like living in Portland, I thought everybody was avoiding eye contact because they're cunts. And I think it's just because they're trying to prove something, you know? I think... Does it seem like maybe everybody got like autistic right around the time Black Lives Matter happened? Does it seem like we all got like real woke and like kind of retarded at the same time? Does it seem... Do you think it was a coincidence that it was like right around the time they were like, white people need to listen, that we were like, yeah, that's easy for a neurotypical person to say? Anything for a little plausible deniability, you know? And I don't know, if I had to pick between being called racist or being called retarded, I'd pick retarded, you know? I would, because I feel like then you could get away with anything, you know? Like, it's not her fault. She's got that retard racism. She doesn't know what she's saying. She could lift a car, say the N-word, she doesn't know what's going on. Okay, guys, thanks so much.